Now, the U.S. Superyacht Association obviously has its focus on the American market and the American industry, but we are not just an American association. We have partners in more than 24 countries, and we actually have flags with some of our members around the room. So I would like to invite all of our international partners to please stand and wave your flag proudly. We have New Zealand, we have Cayman Islands, we have Marshall Islands, we have Greece, we have Jamaica. I know I'm forgetting a lot of the countries, but we're so proud to have you here, and we thank you for joining us in uplifting this industry. You know, there's one other thing I also wanted to call your attention to. Besides the fact that we have members in more than 24 countries, we have members in 24 states, so that's nearly half of the country. But also, there's something that all of you can help me out with to put it into even more perspective. Out of curiosity, how many people, show of hands, are Generation X? That means 1964-ish, 65-ish, on to the 1980 or so? Okay, good, nice number. Okay, how about baby boomers? I know you're out there. There we go. Hey, boomers. Okay, how about millennials? Okay, and now officially I feel old. Okay, and one more question. How about Generation Z, or as Ken Hickling would say, Generation Z? Okay, wow, we got a couple of you too. Awesome. Okay, so that's 4 generations of professionals, ladies and gentlemen. 4 generations of professionals, 24 states, more than 24 countries in 16 years. That is the power of the U.S. Superyacht Association. We are so thrilled to have you all here. I look forward to growing this association even more with your help. Here's to the next 16 years. Thank you. I'd like to bring Bert back here on the stage to give you some industry insights. Data is very important to all of us, of course, and Bert can give you some more perspective on what's been going on, not just domestically, but the impact worldwide.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as I know many of you in this room, and some I don't, I just want to have a little fun, but also want to give you some information. So I'm going to go to about 10 minutes to give an overview on the industry. These are insights taken from public data, but it's just collated in a way that impacts our industry. So I'm going to walk you through a little bit. And there we go. Why are we here? The 63rd Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show. Getting to the details, the economic impact of this show will be $1.79 billion as presented from the Marine Industries Association of South Florida. The impact of the Super Bowl, where Tom Brady played, was $571 million. $350 million was brought in this year from the F1. What is important are those small notations on the left. We employ over 100,000 persons within the Tri-County area. In the Florida citrus industry, which I've joked before, we should have a yacht on a license plate as well as oranges. The citrus industry employs 33,000, according to their economic impact. So we are quite a force from there. These slides will be available, so don't worry, you can get them, but you can always take pictures as well. Now, and I'll just have the team sort of rotate the slides as I request to in case I forget. Here's what's important. If you look at the occupancy of vessels over 80 feet at boat shows, this is where the rubber hits the road. What's important to note is, if you take all of those shows, these are vessels over 80 feet, take up the total number and divide it by 6,000, which is the number of active boats, at this show we will have approximately 6 to 7% of the world's active fleet. Now, let's be clear, there are more than 6,000 vessels total over 80 feet in the world, but active AIS is what we're focusing on for this data. Now we, thanks to a very good team, Tammy Gedman and the IGY team, we're able to look at tracking of named vessels as well as reported data. So we try and refine that data to present to the market. Make sense so far? Now, many of you have been here before. I've touched on some points. I thought I'd add a new dimension to the discussion. This is a rough estimate of cost per lead for the business-to-business industry. What that means is when you fill out your expense reports after this show, it costs $500 to get a lead. Now, specifically, that's paid money, not organic. So what that means is, on average for the industry. Now, data in our industry is very hard to get to. So what I've done is I've taken the hotel, resort, and transportation average to present it. So just imagine, to generate a lead, not close a lead, is $500. Now, if we took that by 40 vessels, single vessels, captain, it would be $20,000 to reach 40 vessels. Now, of course, these are averages taken from other industries, but I'm giving you some insight as to what we go forward on. Just as another tidbit, there are 6 miles of docks at this show. The average person takes about 15 minutes to walk a mile. If you're in the vicinity of Mr. Bob Dennison, the paparazzi will slow you down. But all I'm saying is if you're heading to a meeting, you will probably take 15 minutes to get there, and once again, increased if you're in the vicinity of Bob Dennison paparazzi. Now, let me take you through some information from an overview standpoint. Let's look at migration, operation, and economics. And I'm going to go through this fast so we can sort of look at a total data view. In the world right now, 6,000 vessels on active AIS are being tracked. Now, that's a pretty map, but doesn't give us much information. It just shows you where the yachts are clustered as of this month. Now, once again, there's many more yachts, but we're focusing on active AIS. Now, this slide I use a lot. It's pretty simple math. Take the cost of the vessel, and then you can take a look at 10% of the maintenance from that side. So that pretty much explains the value of configuring docks to fit with the larger vessels and from that side. So a 200-foot vessel, $4 million in economic impact or spend to maintain that vessel. Here's what we're going to show you for some insights. So I showed you the globe. Let me take you down a little bit. This is a geographic area that we targeted, and I'm going to show you how many vessels are in it. Let me go to the next slide. This is how many vessels are located in that area, of course, as they transit. So it's important to take a look at what's the vessel movement. Next slide. So what we have here is the Caribbean. I'm giving you 3 data sets: Mediterranean, transit, Caribbean. I'm going to give you the occupancy in the shaded areas. Next slide. Now, what you have here is the numbers generated within those areas. So I'll give you some good news. If you take September of last year, the numbers are presented. I'm going to focus on the transatlantic and the Caribbean. In that shaded area, we had 35, 158. Now, a single data point doesn't tell you much. What tells you a lot is over time. So as of September this year, 24 were crossing, 176 were in the Caribbean. I'm going to take it a little further. I'm going to take you really way down on some data insights. We mapped that area as one of the top destinations for yachting. There's many, but this is one of the top. Diane mentioned the international players that are here. And I'm going to mention something for the small businesses that are here, which make up most of us. So remember that shaded area. Next slide. Let's see if we can do this. So if we take a look at that, what's important is that pink line. Now, that pink line represents the average of how many, well, the minimum boats there from that side per month from 2019 to 2022. I'll go slow. How many boats over 80 feet are within that area? Now, this data, it doesn't exist for our industry. Thanks to Boat International, Tom Foy and his team, we've worked very closely to mine data to help us make better decisions. So long story short, in that circle area, we have so many vessels. Now, what's important? When Vicky Abernathy needs to sell fenders, which segment's going to be more important? The boats that move in and out or the ones that stay? Which boats are on charter? This is data that's available to make better decisions. Next slide. More data. Within that circle were 14 marinas. They stayed an average of 12 days. This affects all our decisions in how we look at maintaining the vessel, charter the vessel, service the vessel. And I'm going to say service because a vessel that moves, we have to service. So whether you're Fairport or another company, you have to really sharpen the pencil in regards to what you do to service that customer. And I'm going to follow that train of thought. Next slide, please. This is estimated crew based on the total number of yachts. Now, we're going to focus on how many crew are active on active yachts. Next slide. Estimating 33,000 crew on active vessels puts the market at 10. If you have 10% in your database, you have 3,300 vessels, that's 10% of yacht crew. A very important part in what we develop as an industry. Go back for the slide again. If you have 10% of the captains, you have 600 in your database. Remember, we're all small businesses, but these are the numbers we're dealing with. Go back to the cost per lead. We're looking at budgets and working together. Next slide. I'm not going to focus too much on this, but here's the news or the trends coming out. Crew, the challenge of crew. Focus on one number, the amount budgeted toward crew education. That's a small number. It doesn't even register as a percent, a very small percent. But we need a solution for that direction. Next slide. So let me walk you through here. When we talk about the customer, how easy is our industry? It's not easy. The qualitative discussion will go like this. We have good people, pretty beaches, wonderful culture, solid infrastructure, strong relationships. Those are qualitative measures. What about quantitative? Where are the standards? Where's the NPS scores? Where are the surveys? I found a way to scare everyone, including me in this room, to do that. Where are the guarantees? There's warranty for products. What about our services? And I'm not saying run out and do a guarantee. I'm simply explaining what are the processes that we use to develop the service industry. Next slide, please. You've seen this before. I'm not going to elaborate too much on this, but here's what's important. Out of the 10 customer contacts within that ecosystem, 5 relate to direct customer service. Can't put a warranty, can't sharpen the saw. We have to look at how we approach customer service in that regard. And at any part of the chain, whether it's any aspect of it, we will all not improve as an industry. Next slide, please. This slide is important because I'm showing you how we're judged. 30 days is the average use. You can debate me. Maybe it's 25% over, 25% less, but we're judged qualitatively 30 days, which means, did we service that owner when he used that boat? The other days, those are quantitative measures. What was the pricing? Could the boat fit? These are details that we have to measure with data to improve. And that's what's so important with the theme I'm presenting with this data set, our customer insights. Next slide, please. Here's a theme of reality. There's a lot of discussion around VAT. I'm not here to discuss VAT or the importance of VAT. I'm telling you what the reality of VAT is. For a charter, that's what VAT is. There's no debate. When you're looking at the dollar figures and presenting it to a customer, how easy is that? Now, there's myriads of other expenses. This is just the tax. Next slide, please. Here's a little insight on a humorous side. Whenever we feel we've got a great customer relationship and we have wonderful people, the notion of contacting customer service, 30% would rather do their taxes, 28% would rather see a dentist, and 22% would rather spend a night in jail. But we have good people. And I'm not saying that in this description, I'm just saying the point of reaching out to customer service would take that. And in most cases, it takes 3 times to enact a solution to a customer service problem. Next slide. Well, how do we bring quantitative measures into the industry? Here's one. Here's quantitative measures for 5-star service if you want to get 5-star service in a hotel. 3 minutes for a drink, 10 minutes unless otherwise advised, and hot food 15 minutes or less. Now, how does this relate to our business? Ritz-Carlton has a cruise. Four Seasons is coming into the sector, and they're going to use qualitative measures toward the data. I'm going to speed through. I'm a little bit over time, so I'm going to go through. Next slide. These are what our competition will use from data analytics to improve customer service. Many of these, if not all, can be measured from a quantitative measure. So these are going to bring out data decisions and driven technology in our industry. And I'm not saying everyone here should run out and do a guarantee for their service. I'm not saying that. What I'm presenting to the super yacht industry and everyone in this room is, what are the processes that you use to improve your customer service? And that's the message. Next slide. Takeaways, 1, 2, 3. What are the quantitative measures that we are presenting for our industry? Those are ones we have to develop. Number 2, what are we investing in technology? And I'm not talking just CRM. What's the process? How much does it cost? Whether you're a 5-man business or 5,000, what are we doing to improve the technology for those decisions? And last, one more time, thank you. What gets measured gets improved. If we're not improving our customer service in that regard, then we're not improving as an industry. I hope this has been helpful, and I appreciate the time.
Okay, ooh, my goodness. Let's not break the microphone, shall we? Oh, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, that was very insightful. Thank you, Bert. I hope you all were taking pictures. Those are great data points. I want to also bring your attention to some of our special guests and thank them for being here. We are really honored to have so many industry partners and leaders join us here today from around the world. Yesterday, for example, we had nearly 70 people at our destinations discussion. They represented Australia, Costa Rica, Colombia, Peru, Chile, Tahiti, of course, the United States, and more to discuss best practices in the yachting industry. Hopefully some of you were able to attend that discussion. As for our special guests, I would like to call attention to some of you here in the room, so please stand up when your name is called. We have Phil Purcell from MEASIF, and the whole team actually from MEASIF. We have Chip Lamarca, the state representative. He's also the former county commissioner and a huge supporter of the marine industry. By the way, everybody, Election Day is November 8th, so please go out and vote. We also have Greg, forgive me, I'm going to mispronounce your name, Greg Chavaria, the City of Fort Lauderdale General Manager. Greg, did I say that right? Ah, yes. Oh, I feel good. Okay, our association partners, we have David Good from Super Yacht Australia. We have Peter Busfield from Super Yacht New Zealand. We have Susie Durante from Asia Pacific Super Yacht Association. And we also have several people from the Association of Bahamas Marinas. You know, as an industry, we are, well, I should say first, actually, individually, we are very strong, but together we are a powerful force. This is something you hear us say over and over again at USSA meetings. And really, I can't think of a better way that would be exemplified than when the industry came together to bring together aid for Hurricane Ian victims. There were many of you in this room who donated generously with your time, with your money, with supplies. We thank you very much. And on a personal note, I also thank you. I have family in Punta Gorda, They've been there for a long, long time. The place is very dear to me. I get a little choked up thinking about what happened over there, so thank you. Thank you all. We could not have done it without your generous time and your generous donations. I also want to thank our sponsors today. We have many of you in this room. We couldn't have done it without you. You give us support all year long. You're very generous with your time and your input for all of our different events, our advocacy efforts, our membership networking events, and more. So thanks to you all. Our title sponsor is MarineMax and also Engineered Yacht Solutions. Our presenting sponsors, I should say. Our gold sponsors are Suntex Marinas, Safe Harbor Marinas, and Pro Columbia. Our silver sponsors, Burger Boat Company, Saunders Yacht Works, Total Marine Solutions, and Yachtco. And Yachtco powers our website, so thank you, Yachtco. Our bronze sponsors, we have Alex Seal, Director Shipyards, Maritime Professional Training, megayachtnews.com, Pacific Yacht Management, and Salmon Bay Marine Center. We're also giving out some awards here today. You will hear from some extraordinary people, and we would like to thank our award sponsors for their support. That would be All Point Boats. Nate and Chelsea Goodwin, you're here, right? Somewhere in the room. Okay. Oh, and down our exhibit tent, down on the main exhibit area in Bahia Mar in the yachting tent, please visit our exhibitors. They're here on the screen for you to see. We thank our exhibitors for being part of that tent and helping to support the U.S. Super Yacht Association. Okay, I would like to also recognize our board of directors. We have two new board members who I'd like to draw your attention to first. We are delighted to have them part of the team. They are Tom McGowan of EYS. If you've never met Tom, really do yourself a favor and spend some time speaking with him. If he is not the embodiment of the American dream, I don't know who is. Also, Josh Gulbranson from Fraser Yachts. We're really excited to have Josh be part of the team too. Josh has a lot of experience working with owners and with captains, and he brings a different perspective to the board, so we're very happy to have him on board as well. Our at-large board members, if you hear your name, please stand up. Jim Barulis, Audrey Hodgson, Chuck Levere, James Maitland, Tom McGowan again, Ted McCumber, Melissa Orlick, Josh Gulbranson again, and J.B. Turner. And our regional board members, Marty Marchant, up in the beautiful, beautiful Pacific Northwest, Great Lakes region, Jim Ruffalo, the Northeast, Mike Yorston, the Mid-Atlantic, Scott Walker, the Southeast, Cliff DeFreitas, and last but not least, Leah Yam in the Southwest. The rest of our board, of course, is the executive team. You've heard from Bert Fowles before. Bert is our vice chair. We also have Kate Pearson, our past chair. We have our advocacy co-chairs. And for those of you who don't know, the USSA's foundation is advocacy. This association was formed to give the American industry a voice in the halls of Washington and on state levels from coast to coast. It's something that did not exist before a group of people created the association 16 years ago. So our advocacy co-chairs are very important to the team. We have Monique Weber and Joe, I always say your name wrong, I'm so sorry. Joe Dargavage, thank you. We have our marketing team, Julie Perry and Dan Cowens. We have our membership co-chairs who've done a phenomenal job of growing the association this year. We have Zach Savage and Julie Berry. Our governance chair, Bob Allen. Bob here today? Okay, and treasurer, John Fitzgerald. Okay. So events. Events are always a huge focus for our association. It's a way that we can bring you all together, of course, and 2022 really has been game-changing as far as that's concerned. We've become a lot more creative in our approach to how we are hosting events and what type of events we're presenting to you. We've been refining our focus on new markets and new messaging. The Sky Lounge, for example. The Sky Lounge in FLIBS last year was the first time we had created this space. We had been exhibiting, obviously, here at the show for many, many years, and we decided to make a change. We decided to create a space for people to get together, have a place to relax, have a quiet meeting out of the craziness of the show. So that's one of the things that's also going on this year. We have more space for the Sky Lounge. I know there have been some really terrific meetings so far. Some of you in this room, I know were here earlier in the week and have some deals that you have to wrap up when you get back to your offices. So we look forward to hearing about your success stories. The Dakota plays a huge role in the Sky Lounge. Are Jennifer and Ariel here from the Dakota? Okay, they're not, no worries. They brought wonderful, oh, there they are, yes, thank you. Thank you, ladies, very much. The Dakota is responsible for the beautiful, beautiful furniture and decor in our Sky Lounge. They brought it from multiple showrooms, as a matter of fact, to really give that beautiful wow factor, kind of like a yachting wow factor. So thank you very, very much for your creative spirit. We appreciate it. Another event we had this year, oh, Katie, hi, it's okay, don't worry. Another event we had this year was the Super Yacht Summit. We've been holding that for many years now, but we did something a little different again in that creative spirit. We partnered with Marine Money for their Super Yacht Finance Forum. And it was a full day of learning with great panelists, really good in-depth discussions. And our summit was actually the lunchtime panel. We had a very frank and open discussion about the impact of supply chain issues and ways to go beyond it, and the way to go forward in this industry, being more creative in our approach, not just within our own dealings on a B2B level, but also a B2C level. How are we going to engage those new generations of owners? We also had one brand new event this year. That was our Inspire initiative. Many of you I know in this room were there during the Palm Beach show. It was beyond sold out. We actually were oversold. Don't tell the hotel. We squeezed more people into that room than you can humanly possibly do. It was a great day of women getting together and sharing our experiences and reaching out beyond the usual roles that we all have to support each other, no matter what generation we were, no matter what position we have in the industry, and uplift each other and keep that spirit going. Advocacy, like I said before, advocacy has always been part of our core values, and we're taking a new look at things. We're doing strike forces, actually, around the country. We're working with our partners. We are building and strengthening our relationships to tackle a variety of issues, and those are things like border issues, crew visa issues in particular, regulatory challenges, and many, many more. We're also in the process of creating a federal PAC, a political action committee, So that will help take our strike force to even a higher level in the coming year. So we'll be keeping you updated on that. So at the end of the day, they say that it takes a village to raise a child, but really it takes an army to raise an association. So all of you are part of that army. So please give yourselves another round of applause. Thank you all for your hard work. Our members really are our lifeblood. And as I said before, we are individually strong, but together we are a powerful force, and that is absolutely due to you. That tagline has never been more important than this year and never been more appropriate than this year. Despite all the craziness of the past 2 years, we continue to be geographically diverse and varied. Like I said before, we are in 24 states and 25 countries. Oh, oops, sorry, I missed a page, I'm sorry. Actually, you know what, I think I'm going to skip ahead to one of our award winners. I'm going to make our crew back there a little bit nutty, but I need to do this for Rose Dahman. Rose, I know you need to catch a plane, so I'm just going to skip ahead. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, absolutely. Go right ahead. No worries, no worries.
Good afternoon, everybody. This falls under that crazy topic, you just cannot make this stuff up. Just when you think it's safe to go back in the water and you take an Uber so it's supposed to be safer, and then the Uber gets in an accident, and then you have to get another Uber, and here we are. So my apologies for my delay in getting here. My name is Kitty. Obviously my hands are shaking, so we'll just say, this comes under the heading, the show must go on, and I just want to say thank you to my chair and to Bert Fowles and everybody for dealing with all the craziness, but I'm very blessed to have so many wonderful people around. It just keeps things rolling, and to see such a huge crowded room. This is so awesome. So as I'm sitting in there waiting for the cops and everything, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to get there. So this is such an exciting, this award is such a special piece of my heart, and I'm so excited to be able to introduce Ken Dennison and the Dennison family, because we started a spark last year when we awarded the Dennison family with our Golden Compass Award. And that from there grew the Inspire Initiative, and from there grew, let's do an award to celebrate Gertrude Winslow Dennison and all that she brings to our industry and all that her legacy has left behind. So I'm really excited to be able to bring up Ken Dennison and the Dennison family, because this was created about, celebrating pioneering spirit. So Ken, if you'll join me here, and we can give tribute to Gertrude Winslow Dennison and our first ever inaugural nominee, not nominee, she's a winner, and oh my gosh, what a great way to start. So Ken, come on up.
Thanks, Kitty. My ride here wasn't much better, so if that makes you feel any better. Thank you for letting me, our family, be represented here. Last year, my brother Kit got the chance to do it. Bob always does it, and today it's me. We have had the privilege of growing up in a boatyard. It's now the Lauderdale Marine Center. But in the middle of that, the history is shown beautifully here by this one shot that we have right here. I was going to put it up there. But what this is, it's a starting point. This was taken in 1956, and it is the christening of the last minesweeper that went down the New River, 495. And his mom was always due. She was the last one. There was 11 of these ahead of her. The governor's wives, the military officials, people. There were a lot of well-known people that did it, but she waited till the last. It was the biggest and the best, of course. And about maybe a few months later, in the same facility slid in the water the largest yacht built in the United States since World War II, the Elisa. And the Elisa 5 was the start in this area of the yachting industry as the modern industry that we know it. This award is an address to that, not just because of that time, but mainly for the woman that was involved in it very quietly at first, but came on very strong. That cracking of the bottle started the business of yachting, and I would say that the speculation boat business that my dad immediately got involved in, someone had to design the interiors, and he couldn't do it, so she got the job. And when she got the job, initially, it was like all things, learning and so on and so forth. This was in the late 1957, 58 era. She started getting her speed up and had other people join her in her company. It was called Yacht Interiors. And the part of the things that, as things went on, and probably you well know, that these speculative ventures had to basically come up with your own ideas. You didn't have somebody else, an owner even, telling you what to do. The biggest thing she said is these boats would get a lot more women on them if they were really nice inside, like our houses. And trust me, in that era, they were not. They were built by naval architects. The naval architects designed the furniture. It wouldn't move. It was a square table with a square box around it that you sat in. You could put a cushion on it. That was the extent of it in the late 40s. She said, no, we eat in our kitchen, Frank. Why don't we put a galley in the galley at place where we eat? Because that's what we do. Oh, go ahead, Shoosh, go ahead and do it. And all of a sudden, you go in the boats today and you see a country kitchen. You see his and hers baths. There weren't his and hers baths. You see the closets. I want them cedar lined because these boats stink. And I want to have a cedar lined closet because I've got one in the house. Sky lounges were no longer, bridges were no longer called bridges. They were called sky lounges. And it went right on for that, including fireplaces in 1964 were brought on the boat. The best one was a small back on the aft deck. They created a little lawn with a real picket fence and actual grass with a fire plug for the dog's poodles, Reddy and Mix. He was in the concrete business in New Jersey. Needless to say, the word pioneer comes to mind. And before we actually give this to Rose, I think this deserving trophy over here for Rose is also built on something, a solid teak foundation, as you can see, which we think about the boats that we all work on, varnished teak and so on. This was, by the way, built by George Cable as a gift to the family. And on top is a piece of Lalique sculpture. My mother collected Lalique. And that particular piece is one that was designed in the 80s for Katarina Witt, the famous ice skate the Olympian. She won 2 consecutive Olympics. And that's here in the middle of a pirouette, I suspect. And as you can see, the blur of that piece really reminded me of really the spot that she held in our family, oftentimes skating on thin ice. In a family with a Frank Dennison, you would oftentimes had to do that. My brothers know this, clients know this, and he was a remarkable man, but they would also tell you, Mike Busaka is sitting right over here, and Mike was at the yard for many, many years and saw this firsthand. She saw the steady hand oftentimes that had to go on the tiller. The things that sometimes the crazy rights, his tendencies to do certain things that she would calm things down. And when she did that, I say she was skating on thin ice because she started this company of hers, but she also, at the same time at Broward, was working, hate to say this, but she was, Hatteresses she was doing. She was doing Fed ships occasionally. And oh my gosh, she was working on burgers. I mean, you didn't want to say that, although my dad and Henry were good friends. The bottom line is, that's the trophy. We thank, again, George Cable, but most importantly, this society, you people, to recognize her as that pioneer, sometimes skating on thin ice, but always under that great solid base of the love of yachting that we all enjoy and we can pass forward today. I'd like to also point to a couple of letters over here. They were written by Andrew Winch to my mother, one on her 80th birthday. This has to be 30 years ago, right after he started Winch Designs, which is about 35 years ago. Andrew and Don Starkey both wrote beautiful letters to her, thanking them for allowing them to be in a business that she was the grandmother of. That's what they wrote in their letters. And he just wrote another one for Rose. So Rose, before you leave, please take a time to read that letter. It's beautiful. And if I could, he could not be here, but Jim Dixon, who was the lead designer, has worked with Andrew for almost 25 years. And if any of you know all the series boats that come out of that yard and the current 60-meter series that is just being developed, there is one person, once Andrew has the vision, has to be turned over to the guy that makes it happen. He's the lead designer for Winch Design. Jim, could you please come on up? Jim Dixon.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's great to be here. It's a real pleasure. I think it's just over to me to say a few words in recognition of our award winner today about families, I think, the preeminent families in our industry today. Obviously, the Dennison family, thank you, Ken, and the Dennison family members that are here today for all of your hard work and innovation in leading the super yacht industry over the last decades and responding to the lifestyle brief of our clients, which effectively make up the industry as it is today. My own company, Winch Design, is 36 years old. It was started by Andrew Winch, and we've been steadily developing and leading the pack, I would like to think, innovating the creative side of yacht design over that time. We are quite a bit bigger company now than we were in the 80s when Andrew founded it, but we consider all of those people in our company to be part of the Winch family. We're doing everything we can to endorse that and take that forward for another 3 decades if we can. And in doing that, an intrinsic and a major part of our work, certainly for the last 20, 25 years, has been with another preeminent yachting family in Europe, which we've actually celebrated 25 years worth of work just this year, with the Diamond family, who, like ourselves and like the Dennisons, have been really pushing forward and pioneering in our industry over several generations, actually. So it's a real pleasure for me, because I've worked with our award winner today, as I say, for over 20 years, and she has been a very special lady in terms of leadership and courage and bravery in Amel's yachting, the super yacht aspect of the Diamond family's activities, and she's trailblazed the way forward and continues to do so, not only in building of the super yachts, but in the extended activities that are so important to our industry, the communities that we also work within and have to support. And the Diamond family, particularly now, we see fractious times in our global economy and societies around the world. They're particularly supporting the Ukraine effort in everything that they're doing in their particular neighborhoods in the Ukraine, and trying to support their team and move them to safe havens. So congratulations to the family for doing that extended effort, which is also important for continuing our strength as an industry. So I'd like to invite Rose to come and collect her award for Woman of the Year in Yachting.
You're going to present.
Diane, if you could come up and join us. For an inaugural award being named by Gertrude Winslow Dennison, I can't honestly think of anyone who more embodies her spirit, her tenacity, and her absolute poise under pressure to really make a total presence in our industry, unseen by anyone, male or female. Let's give a big round of applause for Rose Dahlman. Rose has to catch a plane, so I just wanted to say thank you very much. This beautiful trophy, which is absolutely a work of art, not a trophy, will be featured very publicly for a period of time. So Rose, would you want to say a few words?
Thank you so much for this recognition. I'm so honored to be here. What an amazing story! What an inspiring person, Gertrude Dennison. So very, very special. And thank you also for your kind words, Jim. And I think to all of you, the first time I came to the yacht show when I just joined the family business was back in 2016. And I've always, from the very first moment, felt so welcomed in the industry, in the US, in Fort Lauderdale. So it's very, very special for me, really, to be here today. And I think your recognition for Woman of the Year is also very important for the success of all of the women in the industry. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you so much, Rose. And we all do this, but we do it in heels, guys. So you just try and do that. So congratulations again, Rose. Thank you so much. We have a special award that we'll be shipping to you. That'll be a facsimile of this so that you can have it there so you didn't have to be schlepping this in your suitcase home. So we thank you so very much for everything. Rose Dahlman, our first ever woman, Gertrude Winslow Dennison Woman of the Year, and we couldn't have had a better one. And now we've set the bar really high, which is really challenging, but I think we can do it. I see a lot of really strong, amazing women out here. And speaking of that, I'm going to have our chairman come up here and present our Chairwoman of the Year, our Chairwoman's of Year person of the USSA who has been stepping out above and beyond. This award was created to recognize those members that really stood out, that went the extra mile and dedicated their time, energy, and service. And I can say, honestly, having known this young lady for a very long time, there really isn't anyone that has done that. No matter what, she raised money for charity. When we had the hurricanes, I said, we need to pull some stuff together. You know, she drove up in her car full of supplies. She helped me unload it. She embodies the ultimate cheerleader for anything with USSA. Our golf tournament would never have been such a huge success if it weren't for her. But she makes it fun. We have a lot of fun together, and you know, she makes people laugh and enjoy it. But she has been an absolute blessing to us in the USSA, uniting captains in the industry, and is a total embodiment of the U.S. Super Yacht Association Chairpersons of the Year Award. And that goes to Tony Hemming-Barber from Blue Water Books and Charts, Bridge Services. Tony, everybody knows Tony. And she always does it in such style. Come on, Tony. We're trying to get back on track since I got you guys all out of whack. And we made this trophy very similar, not as nice and as stunning as this beautiful ballerina. But Tony, if you guys have not had a chance to know Tony, she is a tidal wave. And so she makes it happen. So it's very appropriate that this be the embodiment of Tony Hemming-Barber Chairperson of the Year Award. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very unexpected. I can only say that I love my job, and I can thank John Mann and Vivian Godfrey because they just let me go out and do what I love to do. Thank you.
And you do it so well. Thank you very much, Diane. Our next award is our Beacon Award. If Dan Wood would, our last year's winner, come up and join us to present. This award was created a couple years ago to recognize the individuals or companies who help shine a light in our industry and do great work. I mean, our jobs are hard enough, and we work hard, we play hard, but, you know, it's all about giving back. And this next awardee, I mean, we are so blessed with so many incredible people in our industry that just really shine above and beyond. And there's truly no one who does this better than Michael T. Moore from Moore & Co. If you guys were at the event the other night with Seakeepers, besides his intelligence and sharp intellect and dedication to excellence in the maritime and aviation industry, Michael is probably most renowned for his charitable spirit, leadership in the support of women. I think that's probably because his wife is like, oh, Michael, although he does like the ladies too. So, in support of women and the environment more than anything. Come on up. For decades, his work with the International Seakeepers Society, the creation of the influential Women in Yachting and Ocean Advocacy Group, and most recently, his unwavering support of the Maiden Factor Foundation, whose mission is to educate a girl and save the world, having created new pathways of opportunities for super yacht industry to get inspired. And we actually were blessed to have them as part of our Inspire initiative. And he has been a relentless leader and a champion for doing the right thing by raising untold dollars for awareness of critical issues that impact all of us and charitable organizations. This year's Beacon Award winner, Michael T. Moore. And he's also one who has never a loss for words.
Thank you very much. This is completely undeserving. The truth is, I think everyone in this room, it's really so wonderful to come to these beautiful industry events, because all of us together have shared so many good times and had so many challenges and so many hills that have been taken along the way, and it just is delightful to be somehow recognized for this amazing award. I'm completely shocked and honored, but when I puzzle through it, it's really a series of things. It's a young woman who contacted me. She's my daughter-in-law, so I couldn't say no. She's a professional sailor on the U.S. sailing team. She's the highest-ranked female skipper in the Olympic class known as NACRA 17s, the Foiling Cats. But she was looking, with respect to the one thing you mentioned, Kitty, for some place to stay for some of the young ladies on the maiden yacht. So that started the process, to be truthful about it. She was actually in Marseille at the time, training. So it fell to what I call the yacht world usual suspects. It was Norma Treese and Diane Byrne and Kitty McGowan, and you sort of pulled the team together. The Women in Yachting, what I call the Women in Yachting, Women in Ocean Advocacy, which we formed a few years ago in Monaco. And then they go and they take off, and it's just a beautiful thing to watch. So I do appreciate the honor, but I do, I remember the Inspire event when Kitty told me I couldn't attend because it was oversold. But she did show the videotape of the Maiden Factor, which resulted in the fundraiser that generated more money through this yacht world that had ever been raised before for the Maiden Factor women. It was just an amazing thing. We pulled it together very quickly. The generosity of Island Global Yachting Marinas and Bert Fowles, I could just go on forever. It's all a group effort. It's always a group effort, but somebody gets to take the stage and at least say thank you, and so I'm going to say thank you and get out of here. So thanks so much. All the best. Yeah.
Thank you, Michael. It is about a family and a bunch of people, but you all need a big toe, and Michael's the best big toe out there, so thank you so much, Michael. And we're going to work fast to get back on track as our favorite and most incredible keynote speaker here. We'll get you here really quick. But I don't want to disregard all of our other awardees here. So next on our slide is our youth, because we go from absolute top of the mark to the beginning and absolute promising careers, celebrating leadership and accomplishment in our young people, our next generation. So our next winner, if Chris Coleman will be able to come up. Where's Chris? Who was our last year's winner. This year's winner was a lovely young lady from Bradford Marine, and she has risen to the top, and I know the Kellys are here, and Bradford Marine is such a great family business, and Sarah Hearn is an absolute embodiment of all the things about youth and leadership. And Chris, you're going to do a quick presentation?
Thanks, Kitty. I'm going to go a little off script, but I've learned brevity from Bert Fowles, so this should be quick and brief, and we can get on track. Can I get a quick show of hands of all of our active and alumni from Young Professionals in Yachting? There's a lot of us in here, guys, and in keeping with the theme, our inaugural winner for this back in 2020 was Katie Hagan, and this year's winner is another woman in yachting, and it's a testament to the direction that this industry has gone for us to continue to see this growth and this inclusion within our industry. So really, really proud of what these individuals have done. And Sarah in particular, I promised wouldn't have to speak. So I just give you a quick high level. I've had the honor and privilege of working with Sarah on the YPY board for going on about 5 years now. She was a committee volunteer when I was the director of events before her. She stepped into my role and did a significantly better job than I did. And so she has taken that passion and that zeal into her career, leaving the finance industry, getting into yachting, being ocean bound, and then coming shoreside and taking those skills, both first at LMC and then now as a sales manager at Bradford. I could not be prouder of anybody to give this award to. So Sarah, if you don't mind coming up here.
It definitely gives me confidence in the continuation of our industry. So thank you so much. Quick pictures. Diane, you gonna get in a picture with them? As we're working on our major event of the night, our Golden Compass Award, this award was created to really celebrate the lifetime achievements of our industry. And again, like everybody else here, there's pretty much nobody that represents that more and better than what we have right now with Paul Director and Director Shipyard that's celebrating their 75th year. Those are milestones, 75th year. And no disrespect to anybody else, they're still just by themselves. Nobody owns them yet. So just a quick background. Just after Second World War, Americans everywhere were looking for a bright future. A small boat building shop on Long Island, out of Long Island Sound, started, and then they built their first wooden boats, and that's how it all started, mostly sail. They quickly earned a reputation for building strong and solid, fine craftsmanship, and soon it was the yard choice of many discerning yachtsmen in the New York area. Then, like so many of us, they headed south, and they had their pioneering spirit open here in the shipyard down here in South Florida, where they made vessels from all different sizes with quick finish, ever larger yachts. They pioneered into the aluminum industry, and famous racing sailboats, renowned power yachts, and barrier-breaking high-speed ferries. In the 60s, they also got into down here in Dania Beach, or in Dania Cut, and became known for top-quality work and ability to handle complex projects, gathering a client base from around the country. Meanwhile, back in the north, they had the shipbuilding doing the America's Cup, winning Stars and Stripes, and everything from that to the U.S. Coast Guard, cutters to the largest built boat ever in the United States, the 85-meter Cakewalk. By now, I know you guys all know, we're all talking about Paul Director. I actually have a great memory of Bob director from when I was working on boats back in the 80s, and he was a very distinctive cutting edge guy. So it's with great honor I would love to invite up Paul Director to receive this year's Golden Compass Award. See here? There you are. You want to say anything or no? You want to say something quick? Something quick.
Hi. Thank you all. It's totally unexpected. My marketing manager and oldest friend said, "You have to come to lunch. You have to come to lunch." I haven't been to the show yet. I want to go see the booth. You have to come to lunch. Like, okay. So, how much time do we have? I have 75 years of stories to tell you.
Okay.
If you want.
The show is waiting.
From how much time do we have? From the building my father bought in New York, and we loaded on a barge and towed down to Florida with an old tugboat and erected down here. I came down here when I was 12 years old to put that building up, not by myself, of course, but part of the training we went through. Anyway, that's our history. You told all the good stuff. You did all the good stuff. But no, it's really an honor. And Rose, who I've never met before, but I know the Dahmen shipyard history and such a great company to look up to, and the Denison history. It's great to see the photographs and the stories of old boatyards and shipyards and families, which I love. So it's nice to be part of that. I love to see the diversity in the industry. We need a lot more of it. 10 years ago or so, we counted how many people from around the world were working in the yard. We counted 37 different nationalities, which I feel very proud about. And thank you for the award on behalf of all of our customers, co-workers, suppliers, vendors, subcontractors. I accept the award on their behalf. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Such a pleasure. Thank you. All right, so without further ado, our keynote, that's like, we have such greatness in our industry, and we're going to wrap it up with the big dog on the porch right now. With more than 26 years of industry experience, this name is absolutely well known to all of us, big yachts, little yachts, and everything in between. He has served as a Chief Executive Officer and President of MarineMax since October of 2018. We all know his story, so I can give him more time to talk. Please, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Brett McGill.
You can put that in there. We got faced with a big dilemma here. The longer I keep you here, the more this high-powered competition stays in the room. The quicker I get you out, my team can get out there and work too. So we'll see how it goes. But thank you so much. Go ahead to the next slide. Well, thank you for being here. Go back one. I'm sorry, this must not be working. Anyway, thanks for having us here. I'm really excited to get to learn a little bit more about USSA and everything it's about. I'm proud to be here with some of our team, MarineMax, Fraser, N&J, IGY, Fairport, and we're really excited. So go to the next slide. You know, I thought before we get into it, I'd give you a little bit of background about me, our company, and then give you a few insights that we have on the industry, so to speak. I didn't bring my crystal ball. Bob Dennis and I were talking, but we'll give you a couple thoughts on what we're thinking. But you know, I grew up boating my whole life, and been on boats, skiing. My dad, you see there, he started the business. Next year is our 50th year anniversary for him in the boating industry, and it's MarineMax's 25th anniversary, and we're pretty proud of that. You know, when I grew up boating, loved technology, I went to college, got a degree in that. When I got out, I worked in a software industry and then came back to Gulfwind Marine, which is where my dad had started Gulfwind Marine. He was an engineer, and he loves skiing, barefooting, as you can see him there. He'll turn 79 this year, and he can probably still do that if he's not mountain biking and snow skiing. But he bought a gas station lot in St. Petersburg and started selling Sea Rays. And here we are today, so it's pretty exciting. And I also put this picture up here because it's my family. I'm proud of the picture. I love looking at it. My wife, Vicki, and our 4 boys. And here we are on an event with the Boston Whaler Group, loving life, creating memories of a lifetime. And you'll hear me talk about that a little bit more. That's what it's about. That's what boating is, yachting, and everything. So go ahead to the next there. You know, I was going to put a big strategy slide up about MarineMax, but I ended up with this, which everything we do, the heart of everything we do is around kind of our mission statement. And it's our culture and our values. And I really feel strongly about it. It's how my dad started the company. And it's about consistently exceeding the greatest expectations, customers, team members, and shareholders. And we always believe, take care of the team, they'll take care of the customers. And the shareholder thing, that'll work its way out being a public company. So, and talk about exceeding the expectations of our team. 3,600 team members, if you can go back one, 3,600 team members across the world. I'm really proud of that, really thankful that they all work hard every day. We spend a lot of time figuring out how to make life better for them, a great environment for them to work in, training, creating opportunities, whatever it takes, and we know what that'll translate into. And it translates into our expectations of our customers. What do they expect? We call it our fans. It's our net promoter score. Bert talked about that earlier. You know, customer satisfaction is the top of our mind. There's not a meeting we have that we don't talk about it. But it's about fans. We want to have great products, premium products. We want to have wonderful locations across the world. But we want to get our customers out boating. We want to create events. I know so many of you in here do rendezvous and events. We did over 1,000 events last year, and I think it's more than that. Abby and I go back and look, and that could be a day trip, a raft up. It could be a wine and cheese party at a marina, or it could be 10 days in the Bahamas taking your customers there. And that's what keeps people out there. That's what keeps them boating. And I'll back up. My dad, when he got into the business, you know, he was so passionate about skiing and whatnot, and he said, look, we have to change the customer experience. This has to be better for our customer. So that's always been his vision, and that kind of carried through as we became MarineMax. A little bit about our business real quick. We have a couple different segments we're in. We've grown a little bit. Those of you might have seen that. But, you know, we started as a boat dealership, and we've grown, and we have over 80 locations across the country, and these are our you know, boat dealerships that sell new and used boats. Some service, some have marinas. And so that's the core of our business, I would say. It's where we started, and it's the largest part of our business. We're also in manufacturing, and we're very proud to have 2 great brands that are part of our family, Intrepid Powerboats and Cruisers Yachts. And we're proud of that. I know Ken's here today, and what great brands. But we also sell a lot of boats across the country, Sea Rays, Boston Whalers. But we also have, if you could drop back one more, sorry. We have some pretty iconic brands that we carry where we have national relationships that we can sell these products. And then you see brands like Aquila Power Cats that we've had for over 10 years. We can sell those worldwide, and we're really proud of how that brand has grown around the world. Of course, we're really excited to learn more about this part of the industry, the super yacht side. The companies here that we're proud to have as part of our family: Fraser, Northrop & Johnson, SYM, Fairport, and we're learning a lot. But I'll tell you, we did this because they have a great team, and we look forward to taking care of their team. And most recently, you know, over the last 10 or 12 years, we've been working on having more marinas for our dealerships, but we wanted to expand that for the super yacht side of things. So we created a relationship with IGY, and they just became part of our family in October, and we're really proud of that and looking forward to what we can do to better the industry. And then I'll call these our emerging businesses or our ancillary businesses, but they're very important to us. We have a finance and insurance arm with New Coast Financial. We have a bareboat charter business down in the British Virgin Islands, and we're heavily into the tech side with relationships with Boatyard and Boats On. So we'll keep working and growing on that. So, you know, part of being here today, I kind of didn't know what to talk about and thought, what do they want to hear? And I looked at it and said, well, we're going to be learning about this industry. And what I do know is that, I saw something in the past presentation, I think Bert said, we're a lot of small businesses that make up this industry. And I look at it as MarineMax, we're made up of a lot of small businesses. In fact, general managers of our store operate like the proprietor. We actually use that word often, a proprietor. And I've always said when I'm out talking to people at our stores that if you're not going to be a great local boat dealer, then the MarineMax really doesn't bring anything to the table. And we believe that to this day, whether it's a Fraser that's operating in a local area or it's our store in Connecticut. And so those things are important to be a great small business. We want to be a part of that. So some trends that we see. I just picked two. They're simple. Over 800,000 boaters, and I'm talking about new and used boats. And I know we're here with super yachts, but I think it translates much smaller degree. But 800,000 people, over 800,000, have entered boating for the first time in the last couple of years. So that's exciting. It's a neat challenge, or a neat opportunity and challenge. And by the way, everybody wants to go to the same place at the same time and have a perfect experience. And I know Bert showed some stuff earlier, and that's what we see. And we see it, when somebody has a 20-foot Sea Ray, or they have a 70-meter boat. This is what they do. You can see that. So, how do we handle those challenges? Go to the next slide. But we have to create opportunities in our industry, meaning let's bring more people in. Let's get more technicians. Let's get more crew and captains and staff. And I think all of us are probably working. I think he had some slides up earlier. We're all working hard to do that. We have a technician training center in Clearwater that we spend $750,000 on a year just training technicians that have already gone to technician schools, but we put them through a 7-month course. And of course, we hope they end up in our dealerships, but there's no strings attached. We hope they want to be a part of MarineMax forever. But I think we all need to continue to invest in that. I know we will as a company. And so we have to keep them in there. We have to keep people out boating. And that's one of the other critical things. So how do we do that? They want to be at the same places, same time, but we have to keep them out boating. If we want to keep the 800,000 plus new people and all the customers that have already been with us, it's about events and getaways that we do, the rendezvous and everything that goes with that. So we're committed to this industry. And, I was going to, one second. The biggest thing I think, and I started with a statement about I have a big dilemma. And I used the word competitor, and I kind of said I wasn't going to use the word competitor because I don't feel that it is about that. We talked about the experience of boating. And if we don't treat a customer perfectly when they come to MarineMax, they take delivery of a boat, guess what? It's not good for the industry. And we've always said if our competitors aren't coming up, which I think an association like this is doing, you're bringing the level of our industry up so people have a great experience. And if they don't, we're going to struggle, all of us. So we do, as MarineMax, Fraser, N&J, whatever it is, we want everybody to have a great experience. So that's our mission and how we go about things. And it's not rocket science, didn't need a crystal ball, but so that's what we're all about. And I think, Bert, did we talk about maybe open it up for questions, or I don't know if we wanted to do anything like that. So any questions, comments? And we do look forward to helping out and being a part of this and seeing what we can do in this industry. So I was prepared for no questions. That was for sure. So. And I did want to end with, sorry we had some technical difficulties here, but I did want to end with, thanking Kitty and the association for having us and being referred to as the big dogs or whatever. We're just, we're out there trying to get it done every day, just like everybody else. So thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
thank you so much. And my apologies. It's like it all got so scattered. But it is very heartening when you see people and companies that are so dedicated to excellence. And I think at the end, I know there's a lot of people over the years that say, oh, we're only going to be 5 companies, you know, Suntech, Safe Harbor, who, by the way, are sponsors of today's event as well. You know, that it's going to be too singular and not enough competition. But at the end of the day, it'll also raise the level of quality and customer experience. And so I think we're in good hands with all of these companies that are there. You know, welcome to the super yacht world again. So we're happy to have you. And I'm very excited to have everybody here today. And I know I got in late, so I don't want to leave out my special guests that are here with us today. We have a lot of industry leaders. One of the things that we pride ourselves on as an association is collaboration. And this year's theme was, you know, from sea to shining sea, the gateway to the world. And that is the same in the industry side as well. We have people from every country, as you saw this morning. I know Phil Purcell is here from Marine Industries. He was here earlier. And they are the owners of the Fort Lauderdale, the 63rd International Fort Lauderdale Boat Show. State Representative Chip LaMarca was, I don't know if he's still here now. Is he still here? Oh, you did this already? Okay, sorry. Well, moving on. I missed those. I was like, well, I hope it was good. All right, well, we'll keep rolling. Our sponsors, again, thank you so much. For Marine Max and Engineer Yacht Solutions, our gold sponsors, our title sponsors for today. Our gold sponsors, Safe Harbor Marinas and Pro Columbia. They had a great presentation yesterday. Our silver sponsors, because we couldn't do it without all of you. I mean, we are here because of our membership and our participation as partners to be able to spread the message and keep our industry pulled together. Burger Boat Company, Saunders Yacht Works, Total Marine, Yacht Co., who powers our website, and of course all of these awards that we were doing for our memberships that are 5 and 10-year members will be at the tables in the back. They were all crafted. Thank you so much to All Points Boats. We really appreciate everything you guys do for us. Fast forward, we're getting to the end. Been a great week. It's a great show. I'm glad you had a great time. we have had a great week full of lots of speakers and lots of content for everybody. We're trying to make sure we do very laser targeted focused things. So when you're here, we're doing value add for your membership. We bring a lot to the table: education, marketing, advocacy. We are your voice, which is how we were created. And so membership is important. I know I see a lot of people that are in the room that aren't members yet, but now's your time to join. And also, I would be remiss if I wouldn't say thank you to my team. You can see them all in their fancy red dresses for making this happen and doing the big dance as I'm like, I'm waiting for the police. Just roll it, roll it, roll it. Of course, Julie Sack, who keeps everything rolling. And together, individually, we are strong, but together, a powerful force. Now, if you haven't been in the tent, in the yachting tent downstairs, we also have a lot of exhibitors down there, because we are a partner organization. So we have our exhibit space and then our Sky Lounge up here. And if you haven't experienced the Sky Lounge, it really is magical. And it's a great way to get away from the show and enjoy some business and camaraderie. And we have lunches all the time and snacks and drinks and stuff, so come by and see us. Special thanks to our techies, Between Two Yetis, Lee, the magic man on the video, and our fantastic board of directors. Tom Serio, who is our photographer, that's been absolutely amazing. Like I say, if you're not a member, please join ussuperyacht.com, or you can go right next door and do it. And if there's anything we can do for you, but one of the things that you have to promise me, if you're an American citizen, as a citizen, our duty is to be the voice of, is to extend the voice to our elected officials. Tuesday, November 8th, is Election Day. So if you're not happy with what's going on in the country, or you are happy and you want to see more of it, get out and vote. We have always been a big supporter of that. That's why we were formed. So Tuesday, November 8th, make sure you have your voice heard. Our industry is very bad about that. We are bad and not taking care and making our voices heard in advocacy. So that's why we're here, but don't leave it up to us. We need your voices out there. We appreciate everything everything you do for us. Thank you so very much for coming today to our 16th annual U.S. Super Yacht Association annual meeting. I love to see all of you throughout the rest of the weekend. Katie McGowan, President of U.S. Super Yacht, it's been my honor and pleasure to have 10 minutes with you today. And if you want to see the rest of the show, I have it in paper. So thank you all so much for coming. And enjoy your show. I hope it's a very successful, and be safe out there. These Uber drivers are crazy. And have a great one. Oh yeah, board members and new board members, please come to the front so we can get a group picture. Oh dear. Marine Max to the stage. Anyone with Marine Max, so the guys bring you to the stage. Let's give a big round of applause to the Marine Max team, and a special thank you to W. Brett McGill, and for all your patience for this crazy day. Oh yeah, we have the Denison team as well. All right, USSA board, up to the stage, please. U.S. Super Yacht Association board members. Chop, chop. We gotta get to work now. U.S. Super Yacht Association board members. Let's go. Vámonos.